guides us, as per our soul's requirement.
That's what I was looking for. Because if you say intelligence, everybody will say, yeah, I have my intelligence. Everybody has intelligence. And I was hearing in another class, very, very wonderful class. I was told, what is the connection between faith and intelligence? Can one of you try? What is the connection between faith and intelligence? Are they opposites of each other? A rational man says you should not work on the basis of faith, correct? They say faith is blind. You should use your intelligence. So what do you say? What is the relationship between faith and intelligence? Yeah? Go on.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll try Prabhuji.
Right. Yes.
A person may be intelligent, but it doesn't mean that he's having faith in absolute truth. But a person who is having faith in absolute truth, he is an intelligent person, like Sumedha sir.
Okay. So is that intelligence useless?
No, it is not useless. But a person is said to be intelligent when he takes to devotional service, Prabhuji.
What about the intelligence of a person who doesn't take to devotional service? Will you say he is
No, he is Alpha Medha, sir.
But who will accept this definition?
It is said by Krishna only, but Chaitanya Prabhu only said that, Prabhuji.
Who will accept Mahaprabhu as the last word on this? Intelligence is intelligence. It has its play. It has its role in this material world. So we say somebody is intelligent, somebody is not intelligent, not on the basis of whether they believe in God or not. Say intelligent, he gets things done. He is able to do things. He is very rich. He is a self-made man. He has worked so hard. He is very successful and he is intelligent. He is running a factory. He is running a shop successfully. He is making a lot of money. He is a political leader. He is having high positions.
But Krishna says, no, Prabhuji, avajananti mam mudha. Manushi tanumashita. So he says, no, Prabhuji.
You are quoting from scriptures. It's all very good. But I am asking in a very practical world situation. How do you say
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Between faith and intelligence, you tell me which is superior. How will you answer that question?
Hare Krishna, may I try, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes.
Faith only, Prabhuji, because in my view, it is faith, Prabhuji, because in the intelligence can go anytime, because one cannot be so dependent on the intelligence. If he goes to coma, that intelligence of no use. So sometimes or somewhere, even if a devotee, even if a person is atheist, he comes to a conclude thinking that from where is it? So it is not in his hand. So the intelligence and everything. So he might believe that there is some other power or something like that, Prabhuji.
Good try. But you think faith and intelligence are two different things.
For a devotee, it is the same, Prabhuji.
For others?
For others, they might, their perception is like they find it two different things as that, Prabhuji. Like this is what my knowledge. Right? I'm sorry.
Thank you. Good try. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes. Yes. Anyone else wants to try? Faith and intelligence, are they two contradictory ideas? What is this? Everybody has become silent. Now, are we attending class out of faith or intelligence?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shall I try?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is because of faith only. I feel those who are have faith, they are not so intelligent, Prabhuji, because they have a determined this thing, faith in the or belief in the whatever they are doing. But intelligent people, it is not necessary they have to have faith.
Okay.
According to me, Prabhuji.
So you think there is a different definition for faith and intelligence, and they don't go with each other. If you have intelligence, you don't have faith. You have faith, you don't have intelligence. Something like that. Or okay, if you want to be spiritual, that means you need faith only. You don't need intelligence. Correct? Yeah, anyone else wants to speak on this topic?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
I think intelligence in the worldly matters is limited. So if we extend it by gaining knowledge about the ultimate truth, and we also engage in bhakti, I think that leads to faith. And I mean, both are interdependent. Unflinching faith is required for advancement in bhakti, and bhakti is requirement. But bhakti with knowledge is required to mature our intelligence into faith, unflinching faith.
Yeah.
And intelligence can help us in worldly matters which are simple to process and rectify. But with faith in the ultimate truth, we can solve even the toughest of problems.
Okay, thank you. So at least you have brought them closer. Not that I
Hare
have
Krishna, Prabhuji.
intelligence, so no faith, or I have faith, so no intelligence. It's not like that. At least you have tried to bring them closer to each other. I am happy. Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall I try, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes.
Prabhuji, even I have a similar opinion like Prabhuji. I feel that till we are devotees, faith and intelligence might be different, is what I feel. Still, because we don't have the knowledge to understand that they are interdependent at that point of time, is what I feel, Prabhuji. So we don't use intelligence where faith is there in normal life, is what I feel. But when we become devotees, then both of them become dependent, is what I feel. Because once we are completely surrendered to Krishna, or we start devoting ourselves to Krishna, then we know that our faith is so strong, starts becoming stronger and stronger by the day, that we know that our intelligence will not work much when it comes to Krishna, and we leave everything to Krishna, Prabhuji. So it becomes dependent, is what I feel, Prabhuji.
Okay. Ajit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I haven't heard the question. I just logged in.
Okay, good. We are trying to find out what is the connection between faith and intelligence. Are they opposite to each other? Are they favorable to each other? Or are they completely independent things? What is the link?
Prabhuji, with little knowledge, I can say that before understanding spirituality, the way Prabhupada tells us to understand, I was completely surrendered to my mind. I was just a slave of my mind. I was just listening. Intelligence never used to work for me. That was a subdued voice. Now I would rather say my heart has started speaking to me, and there are a lot of rights which are happening.
How do you say
in
that?
my life.
Your mind was active, I agree, but not that your intelligence was switched off. Your intelligence was serving your mind very nicely.
I never listened to it as what I felt, Prabhuji. It is like
Prabhu,
I was always surrendered.
See, intelligence is an instrument which is used by the mind to get what it wants and to avoid what it doesn't want. This wanting and not wanting is the function of the mind. And the function of the intelligence is to help the mind to get what it wants and to avoid getting what it doesn't want. So the mind doesn't work in the absence of intelligence. The intelligence is always working in all of us. There are times when the material mind engages the intelligence in its own service. But when in a spiritual situation, the intelligence is used by the soul and mind becomes an assistant. Mind no longer says what I want should be done and what I don't want should not be done. Mind realizes that no, this is not good. If I want to be happy in the long run, after all, what does the mind want? Mind wants to be happy, both in the short term and in the long term. But intelligence teaches the mind, no, mind, this is not possible. You cannot be happy in the short term as well as in the long term. You try to forego something that's called tapasya. Krishna would say, Titikshasva, second chapter, no? Tam Titikshasva. Matra Sparshasta Kaunteya Sitoshna Saka Dukkada Agamapayino Anitya Tam Titikshasva Bharata. You tolerate. So that's called tapasya. You give up what is immediately your desire, but you work for something which will get you a higher happiness in the future. Right? So that is where intelligence tells the mind, and the mind accepts and says, okay, intelligence, you serve the soul and I will follow you. I will not trouble you. And I believe you. When the mind says, I believe you, to the intelligence says, then the intelligence is supporting the soul. It has become spiritual intelligence. And the mind says, I trust you. Then no more problems. When Jesus Christ says, oh Lord, my Father, I don't want to die in the cross tomorrow. That is a punishment which is waiting for me. I don't want to die in the cross. That is my will. But I am not praying to you to execute my will. Jesus says, let thy will be done. He prays to his Father, the Supreme Lord. He is the Son, no? Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. So he is the Son of God, Son of God. And he is praying to God. I don't want to be crucified tomorrow. This is my will. He is expressing, the Son will express his heart to the Father. No, there is a strong relationship. So Jesus is telling his Father, I don't want to die on the cross. It's going to be very, very painful. But then he says, but Father, if that is your will, let it happen. Don't think I am objecting. And because I don't want to die on the cross, Father, don't change, work against your will. Your will is more important than my will. Say, my dying on the cross is your will, let it happen. See what has happened here? The mind has become a follower of intelligence. And intelligence is following the spirit. So there is perfection, complete harmony between soul, the spiritual intelligence, and the mind. Then there is perfection. Even though the mind is still recognizing, I don't want to die on the cross. The mind is saying, I don't want to die. But still, the mind has complete faith in God. And it says, yeah, let what you want. Are you understanding this point, devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji. What
Yes,
I
Prabhuji.
understood, can I
Yes,
say?
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Ajit Prabhu, go on.
Prabhuji, it's like, is it like intelligence fine-tuning the mind once we get into spirituality? Slowly, it is a situation wherein your mind has started realizing that yes, you have to listen to the soul voice to be happy. So probably that's where it all starts working. That's what my understanding.
Yeah. Actually, the correct order is soul first, intelligence next, mind behind that, senses behind that, body behind that. This is the way it should be. We should be led by the soul, right? And the soul will naturally lead us to God only. The next point is God. So the soul is the leader behind intelligence, behind that mind, behind that senses, behind that the whole body. This is the way to harmonize everything. But what is happening to us, like a chariot, the senses are the horses. Now the horses are pulling us. And the mind is so weak, mind is simply running behind the senses. And the intelligence is so weak that has allowed the mind to run. And the intelligence is simply following. And the soul, as a helpless passenger, is traveling on this chariot. Where is it going? It is going nowhere because it is pulled by the five senses, five horses in different directions. Where is it going? So, but the correct way is the soul, the passenger is in control. And he is telling the driver. Who is the driver?
Intelligence.
So
Yes, sir.
soul is the passenger. He is the rider of the chariot. And what is the chariot?
Body.
Body.
Correct. Body is the
Body.
chariot. And the body is driven by the five horses. What are these?
Senses.
Senses.
Five senses.
And where is the mind here?
Brain, Prabhuji.
Dreams.
Horses are there. The driver is there. So what connects the horses to the driver? It is the
The
rein.
reins.
That is where the mind functions. So you see, the mind's role is very inferior in a proper situation. Mind is the reins meant for controlling the horses. But the reins must be held by intelligence. And the intelligence must be guided by the passenger. Hey, I want to go here. And immediately intelligence will say, yes, I will do that. And it will pull the reins in the correct direction. And then the chariot will go. And horses are simple, obedient servants. But what is our situation? So now to understand intelligence and faith, what is the role of these in our life? So this devotee, after a long discussion like this, he said, there is no intelligence without faith. Now, I don't know, I'm not giving you all homework. Sometimes I feel very guilty that we meet every Saturday for 1 hour and then you are on your own. So actually, I hope that it is not like that. Between 1 week and the next, you are meditating on what we have learned. You are reading Bhagavad Gita, you are reading other scriptures, you are hearing lectures online, you are doing Kirtan, you are reading Vaishnava bhajans, you are associating with devotees, you are going to the temple and rendering some services in the temple or in the neighborhood or even within the family to help people to progress towards Krishna. I hope your life is full of Krishna consciousness, and that is how it should be. Every activity should be connected with Krishna. Anyway, so this devotee was telling, there cannot be intelligence without faith. Faith is a foundation. Now you go to chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita, not right now, your homework, and try to understand what is faith. Imagine intelligence without faith. It has no foundation. Whatever intelligence we have, it is arising from a foundation one. Supposing I believe in the material sciences, then out of that, my intelligence will arise and function. If my faith is that sense gratification is the goal of life, from that faith, intelligence will function in a particular way. So intelligence doesn't function independently. See, unfortunately, in modern world, in our modern education system, they have made it appear as though faith and intelligence are two different things. And faith is inferior, intelligence is superior. Rationalist thinking, intelligence is superior. It is not like that. Because we read science, history, geography, we have nothing to connect with that. There is no role of faith there. Okay, whatever the textbook says, we will memorize and write. We won't even say whether there is faith involved or not. But anyway, we have faith that if I memorize the book and write the answers, I will pass and go ahead in life. There also some faith is functioning. Intelligence cannot function in a vacuum. Intelligence can function only in the presence of faith. So all those so-called intelligent people who make fun of you, saying that, oh, you are all sentimental people who run after faith only. I am an intelligent man. I don't believe in faith. Then such a person cannot exist only. You cannot get out of home also. You cannot stay at home also. If you stay at home, the roof may collapse. If you go out, the car may come and hit you. If you board a plane, if you board a train, if you go to work, everywhere there is faith involved. Without faith, life will become unlivable. And where will intelligence go if there is no faith? Intelligence is working on the premise of faith only. Intelligence is working to achieve something. If there is no faith, how is it possible? Intelligence will become absolutely bewildered if there is no faith as a foundation. But faith is of different types. If you read Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, Krishna talks a whole chapter dedicated to faith. Whole chapter dedicated to how faith functions. Arjuna is asking a question. Hey Krishna, you spoke about all the scriptural knowledge and how we have to act with faith spiritually. But what about people who don't have scriptural knowledge, but they also exhibit some kind of faith? They also do some kind of worship. What about that faith? He is asking. And then Krishna talks about 3 different kinds of faith, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Guna. Krishna Bhakti is transcendental faith. So everywhere faith is there. See, because the way people have been using words in this world, somehow faith has been associated with the inferior quality and intelligence is associated with the superior quality. This is simply by the play of words. In fact, from a lower level of faith, using your intelligence, you attain to a higher level of faith. And from that higher level of faith, you again use your own intelligence nicely, and then you go still higher. So intelligence helps you to elevate your faith, and your faith helps intelligence to operate in a meaningful way. It's no longer in a vacuum. Am I making sense? I would like to hear your reactions to this.
Yes, Prabhuji, we are able to
Yes, Prabhuji.
understand.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, that means both are interrelated. That means without each other, they cannot independently work.
Correct. But is it because I am saying so, or is it because you believe it?
Prabhuji, I feel that the faith plays a major role than intelligence, Prabhuji. Even you think about some of the devotees who were not intelligent, but they had faith in spiritualism or in God. They elevated, Prabhuji. They came more closer to God. And you read so many other Puranas and all. But this is a little confusing.
Actually, I have not yet given you the full answer. I just wanted to know if this half answer you have understood.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
This like when we get into an aeroplane, we put our faith in the pilot there. We don't check his documents. We don't check whether he is able to fly. So it's a matter of whom we place our faith in, rather
Yes.
than faith is always to be there for us to.
But Anil Prabhu, we don't call it as faith, no?
Correct.
We don't
Because we
call
don't
it
see it that way.
as-
We don't see it that way.
Yeah. But are you able to see it that way now?
Now I am understanding it better.
Our
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Today in the Hare Krishna TV, also the same thing one Prabhuji said, Prabhuji, which Prabhuji narrated. That is, when you sit in an aircraft, you don't see the details of the pilot, whether he will take you to the proper destination or not. And the same thing he said, whether you are in the bus also, when the driver is driving, do you go and check his biodata and how is he qualified to drive the bus and all. So it is only the faith.
Assume for a moment that you don't have any faith. What will happen to your life?
Ruined, Prabhuji. I don't have faith. I'll go vagabond. I'll be a
Then-
vagabond. I won't berserk.
But think, you don't have faith, but you have intelligence. Then what you will do with your intelligence?
Yeah. I'll go the other way around. Materialistically, I'll be more inclined.
No, that's what I'm saying. Even materialistically, you can do nothing without faith.
Yes, Prabhuji, it
Very
cannot
true.
have
Yes, Prabhuji. That anything. Yeah, very true. Yes, Prabhuji.
some trust on somebody has to be there.
So how can intelligence function in a vacuum? It has to be given a solid platform of faith. Whatever faith it may be a faith rooted in tamoguna or rajoguna or satoguna, but it has to have a mooring, some foundation. Then only intelligence can function. So intelligence is not a standalone thing. If somebody says, you are all people, blind faith, you are operating, I am using my intelligence, please take it with a pinch of salt. It's not possible. You can try to make them understand that intelligence is not a standalone thing. It cannot operate like that. It has to operate on faith. So that, now, let me take you to 13th chapter. 13th chapter, shloka number 8 to 12. Many times I have spoken to you about this. 5 shlokas. Amanitvam,
Yes.
Asambhitvam, Achita, Kshantiraljavam, Acharya Upasanam, Saucham, Stairyam, Atma Vinigraham. Yes? You remember that? That 5 shlokas, Krishna answers one question of Arjuna. Arjuna wants to know what is intelligence. knowledge. Okay, he's asking what is knowledge. Now, between knowledge and intelligence, what is the distinction? Let me say, knowledge is like a material, and that material in action is intelligence. Intelligence operates with the help of knowledge only, no? It needs to have knowledge. That knowledge only in practice. In static situation, you call it knowledge. In a dynamic situation, it operates as intelligence. You say somebody is very intelligent. Why? Oh, he knows everything. Correct? So it is knowledge. An intelligent person is who knows more than you. Correct? Then you say, very intelligent. So knowledge and intelligence have a very strong correlation. Correct? So Krishna is talking about knowledge in that chapter. And that is intelligence. And what is that? Krishna says, when I read Gita for the first time, that's why I keep saying it again, because it struck me like a thunderbolt, these 5 shlokas. Krishna says, he lists 20 things in that 5 shlokas. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shanti, Arjavam, like that it goes, 20 items. And Krishna says, these 20 items are knowledge or intelligence. Anything other than these 20 is ignorance.
Ignorance, yes.
Krishna says that. In so many words, Krishna says, what is knowledge and what is not knowledge? Ignorance. So it's not that you cannot say, no, Krishna has given some sample only about knowledge. There are other things also, etc., etc., etc. But Krishna has given a sample. So Krishna doesn't leave any doubt to that. Some people can say like that, no? Arjuna asked what is knowledge, and Krishna gave a list of 20 things. Okay, maybe the more important items he has given, but there are less important items also. No, some people can argue like that, no? So Krishna says, after giving the 20 items, he says, anything other than these 20, Arjuna, note, it's all ignorance. So no room at all. These 20 is knowledge, anything else is ignorance. Okay, so now let us come back to this 20 and see what is knowledge. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, pridelessness, humility. Now, at least one of you try to explain how humility is knowledge. How pridelessness is knowledge. How ahimsa, non-violence is knowledge. Would you like to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Does it come through realization, Prabhuji? That humility and pridelessness, the importance of humility and pridelessness, or do we get it through realization?
Can I say that realization is only knowledge?
Prabhuji, there is some belief on something superior in them.
Sorry, Mataji, I don't hear you well. There is some signal issue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can
Yeah. So anyone else would like to say something?
Hare
Does
Krishna.
it? Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, is it so that with all this knowledge, we start recognizing the other soul? Probably that's why this knowledge, with humility, with honesty, with selflessness, or say ahimsa, we start recognizing the other soul as like we start seeing the Paramatma in them, and then probably our purification happens and our anarthas goes off. So probably, can I take it that way?
Yeah, that is what Krishna says. Krishna says not only this list of items, but he also says those items that will lead you to this realization. No, Mataji was just now saying realization. Realized. No, that means that is what is knowledge. When you realize it only, it is knowledge. And then it becomes useful to you as intelligence. If you don't realize, it will not help your intelligence. Intelligence needs fuel. That fuel is this knowledge. Knowledge only blossoms as intelligence. And that knowledge is only realized knowledge. Only realized knowledge becomes handy for you. Unrealized knowledge, only to write exams it will come. Otherwise it will not. To write exam, then it will say, list out the 20 items of knowledge that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, immediately I did Amanitam, Adamitam, Ahimsa, Kshantirajyo, Acharya, Upasam, Socham, Stairim, Atman. I will write all these things. But then other times, I will not manifest any of these things. That means I don't have realized knowledge. I have only theory. You understand, no? So, if you look at these items, if you ask any 21st century man or woman, they cannot relate these 20 items to knowledge. Yes, do you agree or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
How ahimsa is knowledge? How simple is knowledge? How self-control is knowledge? How
Cleanliness.
spiritual master is knowledge? How staying away from materialistic association of materialistic people, how is it knowledge? Vivikta Desha Sevitva. Always being aware of birth, old age, disease and death, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshan. In moment to moment, the person is aware of these four things. Moment to moment of life, he is remembering. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshan. This material world is full of these four defects, and the person is constantly remembering. Anudarshana means 24 hours remembering. And these are all, according to Krishna, knowledge. We will say faith, but Krishna doesn't say faith. Yeah? So how? Let us see, how do you relate faith and knowledge? Right?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Anil Prabhu, go on.
I think knowledge gives us knowledge tells us, humility and pridelessness, all these things we mentioned. Knowing that we are insignificant and there is a lot more to, there's so much more that we don't know. And when something strikes us, it leads to a realization that yes, whatever pride is there, that is all because of the materialistic blowing up. And then we realize that there is something, the realization happens when actually something strikes us, either through our own example, or an example, if we are intelligent enough, we will acquire the knowledge through others going through the process also. And from that, the realization gives us the awareness that there is something beyond that which we should have faith in. That is the ultimate truth. We look for more knowledge, which gives us, which leads us to knowing the ultimate truth. Because going through the cycle of getting beaten every time, and each time our ego blows up, or each time we think we are so big and we get thrown to the ground, we keep making the same mistakes. It's not intelligence. It's not intelligent to do that. The knowledge that comes out of it should be used to gather more realization about the ultimate truth, and that gives rise to an unflinching faith in the ultimate truth also. That's.
In other words, we start with something called faith.
Yes, Prabhu.
But not all of us are starting with that same thing. Each of us is starting from a different level of this faith. So Krishna says, faith in Tamogun, faith in Rajogun, faith in Sattvagun, and transcendental faith. So everybody in this world is operating on faith only, not intelligence. Intelligence is a byproduct of that faith. Intelligence is rooted in that faith only. But a person standing on one level of faith cannot relate with a person who is standing on another level of faith. He will say, hey, you are blind. He will not realize he himself is blind. He is also operating on faith only. If faith is blind, then everybody is blind only. You cannot say only believers are, blind people, sentimental people. Everybody is sentimental only. The whole world is full of sentiment. So now, see, the more you decide, actually, these are all homework, you see, for all of you. We have to try and see what are these words called faith and intelligence, knowledge. What are all these words? What is the relationship between them? Then you will see that actually we have created these distinctions. as Kali Yuga more and more advances, we are making all these distinctions and giving more importance to something called intelligence, which is not that important as compared to faith. And that intelligence operates only on this foundation of faith. It doesn't have independent existence. So spiritual intelligence operates from spiritual faith platform. Material intelligence operates on the material faith platform, which is again further substrata, tamogun, rajogun, sattvagun. So there's nothing like independently, we talk about IQ. It's all complete nonsense. So unfortunately, the influence of these Western thinkers are unfortunate. Why they are unfortunate? Because they have not been taught Bhagavad Gita. They have not come up in a Varnashrama society. They have no scriptures like what we have. They have no Ramayana, they have no Mahabharata, they don't have Brahma Sutra, they don't have Bhagavatam. They have nothing. So they have to think in a vacuum. They have to start, reinventing the wheel. We say, no, I already have a wheel. Why I should reinvent? I can use the wheel. It's already there. We have the wheel, but they did not have. They have only Christianity, which is completely corrupted. It's not the Christianity that Jesus Christ talks about. See, the Christianity is one thing. What Jesus taught is another thing. Jesus taught something else. But what goes in the name of Christianity is not what Jesus taught. How it happened? It happened. That's all. Jesus Christ sent out his 12 disciples. He said, don't take more than 1 or 2 pairs of cloth. Don't take anything for yourself. You are going to give there is some nice word they use, the message of God to humanity, to save them. Don't look for anything for yourself. Live for them. Only Mother Teresa, we have seen she had 1 pair, 1 set of clothes or something. Very rarely we see Christians operating at that level of understanding. There is something called Christianity, but there is something else that Jesus spoke. They simply took what they can take from Jesus Christ. What is that? All your sins will be forgiven. Only to help sinners continue to do sin, Jesus Christ came on this world. God sent Jesus to this world only so that he can die for sinful people who are in this world, who can continue to do sins. How anyone can think of God as such a big fool? Not only God is a big fool, but God is also impotent God. They are imagining an impotent God, very unintelligent God, foolish God. So that God says, all these souls have become sinful in this world, so they will all go to hell. Why? God can stop it, no? All these, they don't know. All these souls will go to hell because Satan has preached to them. So they are all going to hell. So I have a trick. What is the trick? I will send my son to this world and I will allow him to die. Why he will die? He will die for the sins of all these people, because these people have done so much sin, they all must die and shed blood. But I don't want all these sinful people to suffer like that. Instead, my son, pure soul, I will make him bali, slaughter. And once that is done, all these people, they can continue to live the life they want. And when they die, they will come back to me. Whether to laugh or cry about such a philosophy. That my question is, if God wants all the souls to come back to him, and in the meantime, he wants them to commit whatever sins they want, he has to only will it, no? Why he has to send his beloved son to earth and kill him also? That means God is also controlled by some higher law than that. Somebody must die. That means God is subservient to some higher power. And God has to satisfy that higher power, some law which says blood for blood. All these sinful people are here, they should die. If they should not die, somebody else should die. God says, oh, sorry, then okay, I will send my son. I will allow him to die. Then all these people will not die. So God is important to save these sinful people, except by getting his own son killed. Otherwise, God doesn't know any other way. But God loves all these people, foolish God. If God really loves these people, then he should purify them. No, but God, he loves them so much that no need to purify. You just accept Jesus as the life and way. You not accept, you don't accept. You just say that you accept. Lip service. You just say you accept. Similarly, you can go on doing your sin, but once a week you have to give a list to the church that these are all the sins I have. So only these things you do. And some formalities are that you have to get baptized. Somebody will put a host into your mouth, you have to swallow it. They will give some holy water, you have to drink it. They will spray some water on your head. And every Sunday you have to visit the church. And when you die, you have to take that proper burial in the church, etc. Then that's all. A set of rituals is today Christianity. But what about all the things that Jesus spoke? They are not important. I am sorry, I am digressing from our point. But what has actually happened today is people think intelligence is a function which is independent of faith. There is no need for faith. And only such a person I will accept as intelligent. Anyone who has faith and who operates on that basis, I will say he's sentimental. So is it acceptable to you anymore, this kind of a understanding?
Not at all.
No, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
So why should I be defensive when people say you are sentimental, you are operating on faith? It is not possible. See, please understand, you are attending this class, you are listening to Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and to the words of Srila Prabhupada, not because of some blind faith. Okay? You won't be able to sit here for 5 minutes, I am telling you, if you did not have knowledge. I already said knowledge and faith are the same thing. Realized knowledge, as Mataji said, realized knowledge actually is called faith. Somebody who is operating from the platform of realized knowledge will appear to another person as though they are blindly sentimental. Are you understanding this? Somebody.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, can I just wanted to check my understanding. Is it that probably since we had faith and I'm talking about myself, probably I had that material education. So I, with that material education, I started believing in my senses. So I had full faith in that and I got controlled by that. Since then, when I had some faith, I came into spirituality. I started accepting scriptures. That is when my intelligence is slowly getting purified, and probably my faith in soul is getting fortified. Or is that the right understanding? So my anarthas will slowly go up, and then probably there will be realizations which will keep on happening.
So that's the point. The soul has been reincarnating many times. So this is what is important. Soul is evolving through incarnations. So by all the births we have taken so far, we have come to a certain level of faith. So when you are able to come in connection with that faith, you are able to immediately latch onto it. So the function of intelligence or knowledge or faith has to be understood in this way, that you are finding that attraction to that level of faith to which you have become qualified already. Otherwise, you won't be able to connect. There are so many people who attended these classes. Where are they now? Where are they now? Gone. So, if you are here, don't think it's a function of blind faith. It is a fact that you have evolved to that level of knowledge. And that's why you are able to continue. And this is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Neha Bhikarmana Shosti Pratyeva Yorna Vidyate Solpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhaya. If you practice this God consciousness even a little, That will save you from the greatest danger. Why? Because if you have made a beginning and whatever advancement you have made, maybe 1%, maybe 10%, that will be protected and vouched for you. Even if you die and take another birth, God will connect you at that level because your evolution is at that level and you will be able to connect, which essentially means that you will get a human form of life because an animal cannot connect, a vegetation cannot connect, only a human can connect, which means even you do a little practice of spirituality, you are assured of a human form of life. And also you will connect where you left in your last lifetime. So this is how the whole thing functions. A so-called man, intelligent man, who laughs at your level of faith means he has not yet attained to that level of knowledge. So you should not trouble him also too much. You should not try to convince that person also too much. You can only try to give that person sukruti, so that gradually they can elevate themselves to your level of knowledge. That is the function of every devotee. They are so merciful, so compassionate. They try by all means to bring others to that level of understanding, to that level of evolution. That is why Rupa Goswami talks about the evolution of bhakti starting from Shraddha. That Shraddha is not automatic. That Shraddha comes from so many acts of Sukriti, which adds up, Bhakti Sukriti, which adds up and one day fructifies into that initial level of faith. Then Sadhu Sangha is a higher level of faith. Bhajana Kriya, another higher level of faith. Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, these are all higher and higher levels of faith. And when you have reached a particular level of faith, that is vouchsafed for you by God. In your future lifetime, you will start from there and elevate higher and higher. And eventually it will take you to Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. So Krishna Prema is also knowledge only. And Shraddha is also knowledge only, but different levels of knowledge. From a very, very initial preliminary stage to the highest stage, where you see Krishna face to face. In Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, at the Prema level, the devotee sees God face to face. Will you call it as faith? When you see God face to face, you smell God, you hear God, you taste God, you see God, you feel God. That is the level of Prema. So
that is realization, Prabhuji. With our faith, get reach
you
that.
tell me, is it right or not? So same way, it is all knowledge only. But knowledge of an inferior variety to knowledge of higher and higher and higher varieties. That's what Krishna is telling us. That faith is actually knowledge. But because it is of different levels, that's why there are so many varnas. Why there are so many varnas? It is all because people of faith of different levels. So you cannot force a man of a lower faith to come up to a higher level. It only comes by compassion. A pure devotee can give compassion to someone below and lift them up. Patita, Pavan. Patita means fallen. Pavan picks them up. That is what a devotee does. So we should, if any time these doubts arise, this contradiction between faith and intelligence, we should know they are not two opposing things at all. It is the same thing. The more you do your spiritual sadhana, the higher you will rise to your level of knowledge or faith. And you will be able to do miraculous things from other people's point of view. Can anyone go to America with 40 Indian rupees in pocket and travel on a cargo ship for 40 days? Nobody to back you on the other end, nobody to back you from this end, no money, how you are going to live, how you are going to eat, where you are going to sleep. Nothing is assured. Somebody is going means, what do you call that level of faith? Is it faith or knowledge? Prabhupada says, Bhagavatam is going. I am going with Bhagavatam because how Bhagavatam can travel? It is in book form. It is Bhagavatam which is going to preach to America. I am accompanying Bhagavatam because it's a book. I have to take it. No, I am the legs. I am carrying Bhagavatam. That was Prabhupada's strong faith. Prabhupada always said, my Guru is always with me. My Guru is always with me. So my Guru is doing all the work, not me. So this is all knowledge. We should understand that this is knowledge. This is not simply what they understand as faith. So again, what I was telling you, even though they laugh at you and they say you are blind and sentimental, they cannot come and sit in this class for 5 minutes. They cannot, because they have not qualified themselves for this. So Krishna says, Bhagavatam says, those who go for yoga, Ashtanga yoga, or those who go for jnana, or those who go for nishkamya karma, all these people who are not devotees, they have not evolved that level of Shraddha. They have not that evolved Shraddha. They don't have the adhikar. They don't have eligibility to enter into bhakti. So they go in a different path. Not like touch your nose, I do like this. But somebody says, no, this is too easy. I should not do like that. I will go like this and I will touch like this. Why? That is the level of faith. So these are, if you meditate on these things deeper, you will be able to see the connection of all these things to each other. They are not independent things. So I think there goes today's class. I will try to do at least a couple of shlokas. Is there any doubt, anything you want to say? Well, I think it's already past 4, no? Hare Krishna. So let us take the next subject, Prabhupada Leelamrita.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
What are the, you said that tamasic faith and